The title of my presentation is Hollering in Hindman, and I'm part of the Professional Action Network called Spanish Holler Fellows. There are three of us, me, TamaraKunkel from Knott County Central High School, Gloria Newsom from Floyd County, and Bo Anamo Green from Harlan County. All right, so our goal was to figure out a way to get our students speaking the language, which is Spanish, not only to one another, but to use it outside of the classroom, and especially where we're in the mountains of Kentucky, and there aren't a lot of native Spanish speakers. I think maybe one family in Knott County. So we wanted to try to get them using their Spanish in the classroom and outside of the classroom without actually having to leave the classroom. So one of the things that we wanted to do was to do an outreach program with our local elementary schools to record 2 live stream videos of a topic of the students' choosing to share with our local elementary schools so that those teachers who have not had any formal training in world languages but who are part of program review, and world language is part of program review now, and so it was a way to reach out to those elementary students and elementary teachers to inform them on some of the things that we thought were important. All right, go ahead. So the first video that the students chose to do was with my Spanish 2 class, and it was they got to choose a Spanish-speaking country and do a presentation in English about the Spanish culture and explain how Christmas in Mexico or Christmas in Spain or wherever, what the people there do, what it looks like, and how it compares with our celebrations. All right. Unfortunately, the 2 gentlemen in the picture were unable to attend. All right. The next live stream video that we did was with Spanish 1, and it was a Jeopardy game. And again, the kids did everything. They downloaded the template, they wrote the questions and the answers, they ran the camera, just from the beginning to the end, they did it all. All I was the supervisor and the cheerleader. All right. One of our target goals was to have students collaborate not only with one another, but with students from other schools. And here are some images of our students who were involved in the collaboration. Again, Justin and Michael, who are not here. Andrew Cornett volunteered. He stepped up. He was our cameraman and general IT guy. And then we had Franklin, who was our host for our Jeopardy game. Okay. And this is feedback from 2 of my students who could not attend today. The first one is from Fallon. She's a Spanish 1 student, and she found that it was very rewarding. She said that the Spanish Jeopardy game they created and that they played actually reinforced her vocabulary. And you can read. She said it was fun, and it was something that she would like to do again. Did she put it wrong, or did I? Oh, it's okay. Again, this is Eden Sloan. She couldn't be here today. She's out of town. But she also found that it was a great review tactic and that it really reinforced her knowledge of the language, and which is awesome because another of our target goals was to increase our Spanish students' proficiency. And as you know, if you don't use it, you lose it. So this was a way to get the students actively involved in their learning. And as you can see from student feedback, that it actually worked. It was effective. These are comments that we found that were posted on the holler in reference to the videos that our students had created. Okay, and the feedback is positive. And this is the feedback from a local school teacher. I really didn't have a lot of involvement in Knott County. I think it was just that I didn't get to them soon enough to tell them. But anyway, one of the teachers that I know, she teaches kindergarten at Jones Fork, and she said she and her kids watched it and they loved it. So I think, given a little more notice in advance, I think that our local schools would really get more involved with this. And in fact, this summer I'm doing a training program, taking part in a training program, including Spanish with the arts, reaching out to the local elementary schools. So, go ahead. All right. I did a student survey before starting the holler, before we did anything with the holler. And then I did a follow-up survey after we finished the holler. And we identified some problems or some issues with the holler. And the ones most frequently listed were unreliable or slow internet connection. When you have 30 kids in one room sharing Wi-Fi or sharing the internet, things tend to get a little slow. Okay. They had a little bit of difficulty navigating the website, and I think part of this may be that it was new to us, even to me, and we hadn't really had any time to train on it. Another one was a time delay between posting a comment and actually having it show up on the website. We inadvertently posted the same comment about 5 times in a row before we realized that it had actually gone through. And another one was that we perhaps didn't have enough class time devoted to this. Because there's so many other things that we need to do. I think maybe I didn't spend enough time going over this with them. All right, but the major benefits, as identified by the students on their surveys and in conversation, was that making the videos and posting their comments in the target language did reinforce their knowledge of the target language. They found it to be useful skills, not only videoing, but actually doing the planning leading up to the videos, and that they thought it was fun, and that they liked reaching out to people outside of the classroom. Again, one of the things that they really enjoyed was going beyond lecture and reading and writing to actually using the language with their contemporaries. All right, the survey results, just in brief. I surveyed about 176 students. Of the students who responded, 90% of them participated at least once in using the holler, and that could be in creating the live stream videos or posting comments, responding to comments, and so on. 87% of the students surveyed said that the website and the videos were helpful to them as students. 84% think that this website and the live stream videos, doing something similar, would be beneficial to other world language students. And then 75% of the students said they would be willing to participate in a similar activity in the future. All right. Okay, the last part of my presentation is actual student feedback from my students. I have students here from Spanish 1 and 2. Okay, I'm going to let them each take a turn. And just, if you have questions about what we did, you can ask them, or what they thought about it, their experience from it. Just feel free to ask them.
Well, I mean, it was a fun activity. I'm in Spanish 1. I did the Jeopardy game. I found it fun. It was engaging. And I really like the holler, but even though it's not as big as, like, say, Facebook or something like that, it kind of keeps things local.
I'm in Spanish 1 as well, and when we did the Jeopardy game, it really did reinforce our vocabulary. And as the game went on, you had to think for a minute, because all of the questions were in Spanish and you had to answer in Spanish, and so you had to think a little bit about what words you had to be using. And whenever you had to do that, as the game went on, it took you less time, and you started getting those words back in your head and realized how to say it right.
I'm in Spanish 1 also, and I was in the Jeopardy game, and it was just nice to have fun with Spanish, because when you think about learning a new language, you're like, oh my goodness, it's so stressful. But with the holler and with the videos, it's just so much fun, so you actually get it, and it sticks with you.
I'm in Spanish 2, or Español 2, and the holler is fun. We didn't get to play a fun game like Jeopardy. We just had to make a video, but it was fun, better than doing like a worksheet or writing down vocabulary words.
Well, I'm in Spanish 1 as well. We're more, Clearly we're not as prestigious as them, but it was fun. Clearly we all went to different websites because I did not like the holler as well as everybody else did. It was kind of hard to navigate. I liked the live stream, though. It was fun because there was Justin and Michael, the guy with the fluffy hair and the guys with the glasses. They made it extremely fun because they talked about pie the entire time, and dyslexia, but it was fun.
My name's Kyle. I'm in Spanish 1, and it was a pretty fun experience.
Thank you.
If you were to do it the second time, like next year, what games would you play? What ideas do you have for activities?
Oh, thank you for your question, guys.
I'd like for Spanish 2 to play Jeopardy. That'd be fun. This might sound weird, but in Breaking Bad, that show, it takes place in New Mexico, where there are some people in the show who are Mexican and therefore speak Spanish. And sometimes, like, they'll speak Spanish and have subtitles, and so it's entertaining and helpful.
subtitle real life. Make things easy. But when we was coming up with the idea of Jeopardy, we tossed around many ideas. Like, we had ideas for, like, say, a news interview kind of thing. We had ideas for, like, Wheel of Fortune, yeah. Just a bunch of different ideas. And I think if we did it in the future, we'll go back to some of those ideas or come up with new ones. Anyone else want to respond to that question? Any more questions? Wait a minute.
Well, as the teacher, I have all kinds of wonderful ideas for fun things to do. But we will actually, I enjoyed it. The kids enjoyed it. I'm thinking even if we don't get a grant to pay for it, it may be something, you may see us on Facebook. You know, we may do something like that in the future, whether or not it's part of the grant. Yes? What did you use the grant fund for? Well, what it was is we didn't actually buy anything. It was... it's a professional action network set up by KVEC with the intention of having Spanish teachers make a connection on not just online but also face to face. So we didn't actually.
So you didn't apply for a grant?
No, we didn't really apply for a grant. That's the reason my setup is a little bit different than theirs, because I didn't actually apply for a grant. But as part of KVEC and ARI, it was just kind of just a network to network Spanish teachers in Eastern Kentucky. Because usually, like, I'm the only Spanish teacher at my school. Gina is, I think, the only Spanish teacher at her school. Bo, you've got 2 now, don't you? So we're usually isolated as world language teachers. And this was a way not only to connect the students with each other across the counties, but also the teachers. Yeah. But one of the things, actually 2 of the things that I think if I could do this again, what would I do different? I did all of my data that I collected was qualitative instead of quantitative, and I could have done that simply with a pre-test and a post-test. That way I could have actual numbers and not just percentages, you know. So qualitative, quantitative, and I think I kind of failed a little bit in the pre-planning. It wasn't planned as effectively, I think, as it could have been. But again, this was the first time that any of us I'd never even been on the holler, had never recorded a video. So, you know, for us, it was new.
So will you guys use it for other non-Spanish things now, you think? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on there.
Apparently, Colby only will if you make him.
On the holler, there are like a bunch of different clubs and stuff, and I think it's really, I would use it if like it was easier to navigate and stuff. But where it's so difficult to navigate, I'm kind of scared to. But I would use it if it was like easier.
One thing I'll say about the holler is, like she said, there's different clubs. There's stuff for, like, gaming, like, they even do their own live streams for, like, League of Legends. They also have stuff for, like, sports teams and all that. They got stuff for music and share, like, some of your favorite music on there and connecting with people. Same with, like, sports, connecting with them on, like, just all that. And just find people to play video games with too.
Our first experience with the holler was when they took us to, well, for me, when they took my Spanish 2 class to the computer lab, and there was a lady who worked for the holler, Tanya, and we did like an exercise where we made our accounts, signed up for clubs and whatnot, and there's achievements on there, so you could get points for these achievements, and at the end of the period, the class period, the person with the most points won one of these T-shirts, though we ended up all getting T-shirts eventually. Yeah. Though I wasn't very happy with her instruction at the time. It could have been better. Yeah, bad leadership. Not on Miss Kunkel on that lady's part. She was an evil feminist.
All right, but any more questions? We're done. We're done.